MMA Boxing Talk here. This video is going to be about the UFC middleweight division. Of course, last night it all became official. George St Pierre vacated his title, and the UFC promoted Robert Whittaker to the regular champion, and he's going to defend his title against Luke Rockhold in February in Perth, Australia, for the real 185-pound title. What's an interesting stat I want to read real quick, because George St Pierre's middleweight title reign only lasted 31 days, which is the shortest in UFC history. But it's funny because George St Pierre's welterweight title reign was the second longest in UFC history, lasting 2,064 days, which is just kind of funny, Obviously, Anderson Silva would have the longest UFC title reign. I'm almost positive about that. So anyway, what I think about it, I'm pumped about this news. I was one of these people that, right from the get-go, I knew what GSP was doing. He saw Bisping as a beatable opponent, someone more of a winnable fight. Less risk, high reward. It was a no-brainer to take that fight for George St Pierre. That's a smart move. But the thing is I never expected George St Pierre to defend that middleweight title because think about it. George St Pierre in his prime, wouldn't fight Anderson Silva. So why would he want to fight guys like Luke Rockhold, Jacare Souza, Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker? He was coming back because he had this opportunity and he took it. Hats off to him. It was an amazing night, amazing performance. He beat a tough Michael Bisping. So, but the thing is now that division is gonna be back to normal. There's gonna be more legitimacy behind the middleweight title because I'm sorry to say it, but ever since Michael Bisping won that belt, the division's been in a frenzy. Nothing against Bisping. He knocked out Luke Rockhold. That was on him. Rockhold was taking the fight clearly way too lightly, and it happens. But the problem is Bisping never defended his title against anyone legitimate. Nothing against Dan Henderson, but the guy was 46 years old, ranked at 14 or 15th in the division, was obviously like the last guy they would have chose for a title shot. The only reason why is because Henderson, of course, beat Bisping, and this was a rematch. So the UFC and Dana, they did Bisping a favor, and he barely squeaked through that fight. But anyway, now finally we're gonna get, in my opinion, the two best middleweights in the world fighting for the real title. It'll be a legit champion. I already see Robert Whittaker as a legit champion. I mean, he won the interim title against Yoel Romero. He beat Jacare Souza. Yoel Romero's ranked number 1 contender, and Souza's ranked number 3. I mean, he's already proven himself to be a champion. Now he's going to face Luke Rockhold. It's going to be a phenomenal fight. I'm really looking forward to it. To be honest, I think I made a video, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but anyway, saying that this is what I wanted. I wanted GSP to vacate the belt and have Luke Rockhold versus Robert Whittaker. I kept saying for the vacant title, for the vacant real UFC middleweight title, but they just promoted Whittaker to the champ, and I have no problem with that because he's gonna have to defend it right away. And like I just said, he beat the number 1 and number 3 contender in Jacare and Romero. So awesome news. It's gonna be in Perth. You got to think that the fans are gonna be going ape shit every time Whittaker, throws a flurry or lands a punch or anything, and that can definitely sway the judges. And I think this might be a very close fight. Obviously, both guys could get a stoppage in this fight. Who knows? Either guy is capable of doing it. But for some reason, I think this is going to be a war. It's going to be a technical war, and it could last 5 rounds. And if that's the case, I mean, the fans, like I said, obviously being pro Whittaker, that could sway the judges, especially if it is a close fight. Um, I'm leaning towards Whittaker in that fight. I really haven't watched much footage I haven't watched much footage to say that recently, but I just think Luke Rockhold, an amazing fighter, but he's definitely his defense is probably his weak point, like his weakest asset. David Branch exposed him. I thought he had him in some serious trouble in the first round, and Robert Whittaker is a lot more explosive, precise, lethal than David Branch. So it's going to be a handful for Rockhold. Saying that though, Rockhold is definitely the better grappler. Um, but it's like Whittaker, just the way he grappled with Romero and Souza, he's very well tested. So it's going to be a great fight. I needed to put out a video. That's it for this one though. If you liked the video, definitely subscribe. Lately, I haven't been really happy with my content, so I'm definitely going to make more, maybe less videos, but more enthusiasm and topics that people really want to hear, instead of maybe updates or whatever. So that's it for this one. If you like the video, subscribe. Like I said, check me out on Twitter. MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.